Get a little wake up, got the brain moving, you know. Oh, I got some Junior's cheesecake sitting in the fridge from New York City. Ever been to Junior's?
Junior's?
Yeah, it's one of those places that was like, it was like a legendary cheesecake stop in New York City, not far from Broadway, Times Square area. Now it's kind of commercialized. I think somebody bought it out, you know, like they realized you could capitalize on the name or whatever. But, you know, the group I was with yesterday, they were like, we want to go to Junior's. So they went to Junior's. I'm sitting outside, and then I realized I've got a couple ladies in my life that I could buy cheesecake for. So I should probably go in there and buy cheesecake for those ladies. Right?
Is this place a cheesecake place?
It's a cheesecake place. Yes, that is like what they do.
Do you know that I will whore myself out for a slice of blueberry cheesecake?
Bro,
I am unashamed to say that.
Do you know that is the cheesecake I bought for these ladies?
Oh, let's go.
I was like, that is the move. We're getting blueberry cheesecake. It's coming back home for Mom and McKenna. That's what's up. You got to take care of your ladies.
All right. Well,
so
when I'm on the East Coast,
I made sure they got blueberry cheesecake. I ate key lime cheesecake last night.
That's my second favorite.
Is it? Stop. All right, hold on. Wait, what's your third favorite? Because I got one more flavor going on here. And if you say it, I'm just hitting the theme music.
Okay.
Third favorite
type of cheesecake.
Yes, because I have a piece sitting in the fridge right now, and it's the third type that I got at Junior's yesterday.
Okay. Pressure's on. If you want to put some thinking music for 5 seconds here.
Just answer your favorite. Don't try to answer the right answer.
My favorite. I thought I was trying to guess. I was like,
third favorite. No, your third favorite.
Third favorite.
And if it's the same as the one I have in the fridge, or even similar, I will. That's it. We're just hitting theme music.
I like.
This is not. What? Why is this hard? You blueberry. Key lime. What's third?
I'm a fan of like a salted caramel cheesecake, you know?
Ah, that wasn't it. You know what it was?
Is it Oreo?
Hell yeah.
I knew it was going to be Oreo. That's why I was like, should I say Oreo?
You were trying to
guess
but that wouldn't have been the honest answer.
But I still knew it.
All right, theme music.
Yeah.
we're hitting it. Dude,
cheesecake.
I'm so glad that those were the three.
That's incredible.
Ready, clap.
Ready, clap.
Three, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the On Pop Podcast. Ready to clap?
Ready to clap.
3, 2, 1. On time, every time. Welcome back to another episode of the On Pop Podcast. My name is Kevin Miner, El Capitan Todo El Siempre, with the cheesecake. He, him. With me, as always, is
Odie Matthews, the chef cooking up content. They, them.
Ooh.
Emphasis on the them.
They, them. Them. All right, good. I've extra them this week. You're extra themmy.
I'm extra themmy. I'm themmy in the sauce, baby. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh.
Themmy and the Boys would be a good band name.
The Boys?
Themmy and the Boys.
Themmy? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Themmy and the Boys? And then have it be like all androgynous and or female.
Yes. I love that. Actually, it's like one non-binary person. The rest of the band's all women.
Make it a punk band, too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm into that. That's punk rock, baby.
Punk
you know
rock?
what else is punk rock?
Pop rocks.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's pop rock. Sorry.
I was going to say making fun of Mormons now.
Yeah.
Well, so we both did. You went to a Renaissance fair.
I did.
And but then I went and saw the Book of Mormon. So we were existing in two different time periods. I was dipping into 1823 Rochester, right? Upstate New York, right? You were dipping into the 1500s. Tell me, why did they have sunglasses in the Renaissance era? Because you sent me a picture, and that was first off, dope picture. Everybody looks great. Second off, why you can't do sunglasses in the photo. What is this? Evil Dead? or the Army of Darkness?
Oh yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, I found a wizard, and I asked him to cast a spell to make it easier for my eyes to see in bright light. And
I cast sunglasses.
and they just this brand called Ra Ban just appeared out of nowhere on my head.
Wow.
So
you're really dipping into character here.
Thank you.
No, you went to your first?
Yeah, that's my first Ren-Faire.
First Ren-Faire ever?
Yeah.
You want to hear something? I've never been to one.
You want to hear something?
What?
You're coming with us next year.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely down for
It was
Ren-Faires.
so much fun. It was the problem with it out here in Colorado, in my opinion, is for one, can we talk about why are Ren-Faires where people dress up, in full clothing, usually heavy cloth, you're wearing capes, you're wearing cloaks, you're wearing chainmail. Like the guy I went with wore chainmail and a plate with a helmet.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why are we doing this in the fucking summer?
Yep.
Thank you. Why is this not a fall activity?
Yeah,
why
the hell
is it June and July? And out here, it's June and July, the two hottest months.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
This is why people went to battle in the fall.
Yeah. We made a joke about
wars were held off back in the day until autumn breezes hit.
Dude, we literally made the joke. We were like, I wouldn't fight during the summer. If an army showed up to my castle during the summer, I'd be like, come back when it's cold. Go away. We'll fight later.
Be like, you're going to have to siege this bitch, and joke's on you. It's hot.
It's hot. Yeah, we don't want to fight. Yeah. It's all yours, actually.
Oh my God, yeah. No,
yeah.
You know what? As soon as you started saying we're wearing heavy gear, I was like, oh yeah, why are all those things in the summer? I guess it's because the summer's a good time to be outdoors and the weather's slightly more predictable.
It wasn't terrible. I mean, it was like in the 80s, but there was very little shade. So, I mean, sun beating down. There was no clouds. But we were there for about 4 hours, and I feel like that was – we were there from like 10 to 2, and then our group – went and had lunch afterwards, and I feel like that was by the time I got home around like 4, that was a full day because we had to leave. Yeah. We left at like 7:45 because it was an hour away, and then we had to park, and there was literally a line so it's about 3 miles. I just painting this picture for you real quick.
Yeah.
So we got there
Paint the whole picture.
Yeah. So we got there at 9:15, and the parking lot is relatively empty. Yeah, a.m. Doors open at 10. So we get there at 9:15. By the time we park and watch the front doors, it's about 9:40. So they do this like little show where like a king and the queen and the princess, and there's a jester. There was a guy dressed up as a unicorn in like a furry costume. And they were like putting on this like, hello everyone.
They welcome everyone to the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, like really getting into character and stuff. And there's just everybody's just kind of like out front, and there's there was a guy dressed as like Assassin's Creed. They had like steampunk people, pirate people, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, doors open at 10, and we did some shopping. We saw a jousting tournament. We fed some animals at the petting zoo. But when we left, because like a Ren-Faire is a Ren-Faire. Like, I'm not gonna say and explain everything. If you're interested in the Ren-Faire stuff, if you like D&D stuff, Ren-Faires are fun. They're cool. My biggest complaint is, and this is gonna sound so stupid, but $28 a piece for tickets to get in. And then everything in the Ren-Faire is marked up astronomically high. Dude, I wanted to buy one single, probably about 2 inches long, like looked like a dragon tooth, right? It was like it was fake. It wasn't plastic. But it was like, it was fake. Yeah, it was like foam almost. Yeah. You know how much one dragon tooth was?
How much?
$14.
Yeah, that's dumb. And it probably cost the person who bought it like $1. Yeah.
So
not even.
That's my only complaint, is that you pay to get in. It's like an amusement park. You pay to get in, and then everything's marked up. But that's okay, because I was more for the vibe, I wasn't there to buy anything.
Who knew the Renaissance had so much capitalism?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, bubonic plague must have really knocked this economy out,
It really, yeah.
But
a dragon's tooth in this economy?
You're crazy. Yeah. Because I wanted it for my D&D campaign. But what I thought was the funniest is we left
just
at
3D print your own.
Let me just go buy a 3D printer, learn how to 3D print, and then print one.
Public libraries have them. Stop.
Oh, okay.
I'm serious. Public libraries have 3D printers, and you can pay to use them.
Do they really?
Like, yes.
That's
like
that.
A thing.
I did not know
Most public
that.
libraries are updating, like, with all these different new functions. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we're leaving, now to paint a picture of like where this is, so there's a town called Larkspur.
Did you guys paint pictures while you were there?
No, but to the guys. So we went with our. So it was me, Nate, my friend Ben, and his partner Decker. And the four of us are in a D&D group with a couple other people, and then he brought his best friend Jake and his wife Elena. So Jake and Elena got their face painted. It was really cool.
Cool.
And Jake was in like a full wizard outfit. It was really cool. Well, you saw the picture. Anyways. But so Larkspur is a town that's like kind of up in the mountains. It's, if you know the Colorado area, it's between Denver and Colorado Springs, right?
Okay.
It's about 3 miles off the interstate. So when you leave, you go through the little town of Larkspur, and then you get to the interstate, and we headed back up to Denver. The line of cars at like 2 o'clock. Now keep in mind, Ren-Faire closes at 6. The line of cars was from the start of Ren-Faire backed up 2 miles on the interstate. 5 miles is how long the line of cars to get into the Ren-Faire was.
Wow.
Half those people aren't going to make it.
No.
Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, is there like a sleepover portion to the Ren-Faire?
Not legally.
I mean, well, okay. Let's get into this a little bit. One, I would love to go to a Ren-Faire. Two, I'm gonna have a very I don't know what my experience is gonna be like at a Ren-Faire, because like I'm not great with group activities anyway. Like we got to the city yesterday, so we went on like our own little trip. We got to the city yesterday. It's my whole my financial group, right? So Anderson Financial Group. We get to the city, and my boss is like, we're going to go see Book of Mormon. We've got like an hour, 20 minutes. And it was really funny how it just automatically kind of split up like guys and girls. Like the girls were like, we're going to go shopping. And the guys were like, we're going to go do whatever. Like very quickly just like parted ways. But then my boss looked at me and he's like, hey, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to find a good coffee shop if you're asking me what we're doing. That's the first thing I'm doing. So I found Blue Bottle Cafe over by Bryant Park. And then we went over, we went over to Blue Bottle Cafe. I was like, that's the only thing I want to accomplish is getting a good coffee in my system before we go and see this. And then, I just beelined for it. And I a couple times I had to, check behind me. I'm like, I'm walking fast. I'm doing, my own thing here. I should probably make sure I'm not losing people. Yeah, I'm good at, deciding what to do. I'm not good at corralling everybody. I don't care to be a sheepdog,
Yeah,
so,
I hate that.
when I pick something, I'm like, all right, if you get left behind, you get left behind. We said, I'd be a bad Marine. Sorry, guys, you didn't keep up. I'm more like Remember the Titans when they go on the night run. I'm like, don't bother coming back if you can't find your way. That's how it's going to be. But so I did that, and then we made it over to Book of Mormon. But I realized multiple times, I'm definitely more individualistic. I could go somewhere with a group of people, but I'm the first person to be like, I'm going to go over here, and you guys can continue debating over what you're doing next for the next 10 minutes. I just don't want to waste time.
It's like you and
when
the
I
tube.
go somewhere,
You're going down the river. You're not waiting. You're going down the river.
Exactly. I don't want to waste time. Everybody else can debate and try to figure out. And it's like, oh, well, Jessica wants to go get fried dough. I'm like, all right, cool. Jessica can go get fried dough. And they're like, but who's going to? I'm like, I don't know. Her boyfriend or whoever came with her. I'm not going to get fried dough. I'll see you guys later. We have phones still. Text me.
We're not in the time period of Book of Mormon. We can still text.
100%. And not only that, I'll share my location for the next half a day with you. I don't give a shit.
I'll put an air tag in your backpack. I mean, what?
Here's the thing about the Ren-Faire, though. So one, I want to go to the Ren-Faire. Two, here's the two things that I've come to understand about Ren-Fairs in general. One, it's not just Renaissance shit anymore. Like you were saying, there's people who are showing up and they're like, we're pirates today. Yeah. And it's from what era?
Dude, the guy was Jack Sparrow. Dressed as Jack Sparrow. Yeah.
Some guy just shows up dressed as Jack. It's like I want to say, I don't want to generally blame the cosplay community, but I think the overall I would say the over acceptance of you can be whatever your imagination wants kind of detracts from the fact that some of these things pick specific periods. The pirate guy isn't going to go to a pirate convention. They're going to show up to, the Ren-Faire dressed as a pirate just because they want to, right? Yeah. And then some people show up as fairies, right? But then you have steampunk people.
They were
and
there too.
That to me is Yeah, well, you said, and like that to
Yeah.
me is like a wild thing. Like like you show up and you're like, yes, it's the Renaissance Fair, and we have all of our gadgets. Like just yes, with my watch and my monocle and top hat and whatever. Like the Renaissance Fair is just like a blanket for if you like any sort of relative period piece type thing, and you're just showing up and throwing down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry,
But-
yes.
What are you
Well, 'cause
doing? What's going on over there? What are you looking at?
I'm the manager on duty this weekend. And
Are you working?
I'm just answering a text. But I was
Working
listening.
right now?
No, listen, the steampunk one, I will admit, and the thing about this Renaissance Fair, you mentioned the pirates, right? Like they're not going to go to a pirate thing. This Renaissance out here, and I don't know how other Ren-Faires are, but every weekend there's a theme, and last weekend was the pirate themed weekend.
Oh, so this guy was just late.
I think he was just late because this weekend was like wine and something else, but like
He got his weekends wrong.
dude, there was somebody dressed as Lord Farquaad and the gingerbread man from Shrek. There was a girl in like full blue body paint, like dressed as like from
Avatar?
the Arcane, I think it was, maybe.
What?
I haven't seen that. There was somebody dressed in like as a very popular it's gonna drive me crazy because everybody in my group was like, "Oh, she's from," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know that."
Yeah.
I want to say it was Arcane.
Ganassi?
Is there a blue person in Arcane?
No, but there's a blue person in Critical Role.
That was it. It was a Critical Role with like a lollipop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Oh.
Jester from Critical
Yes.
Role. Got
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm so glad you're
That's
here.
a very popular character from Critical Role. You know what, Odie? It's not your fault. You haven't gone far enough down the D&D hole to
I
hit
have
that
not.
point yet. But when you do, I'm sure I'll hear all about it for like the 20th time in my life about how great that campaign was and yada yada. Critical Role had one of the best campaigns of D&D ever recorded, right? So like that campaign's legendary. People love Jester, such an iconic character, yada yada, right? Like, and I'm not downplaying. I'm just saying like, but like so the funny thing is, people are like, oh, Ren-Faire, I'll just be my OC D&D character that's half tabaxi. And then you just have like, so like now Ren-Faire, like in the past where Ren-Faires might have been like just people who are into Renaissance, and then like slowly but surely you've got like Game of Thrones fans showing up, like and White Walkers, and then like D&D people that are like, I'm a tabaxi rogue and I'm a Kenku, and like so now it's just like any other convention, like it's a bunch of people cosplaying. Like that's what it, like, which is cool.
I'm not gonna lie, like I think one of my favorite parts about going to the Ren-Faire for me, because I kept telling everybody, they were like, oh, like, do you want to buy anything? And I was like, well, if I see like a good tunic that like is monk-ish, because that's like eventually where I want my costume to be, is like more monk, because that's my favorite type of character in D&D. But
yeah,
I kept being like, I'm just here for the vibe. Like, I'm looking at other people's costumes, I'm admiring them, I'm complimenting them, I'm looking at the stores, I'm looking at swords that are $700-800. I'm never gonna buy them. I'm looking at staffs that are. There was one staff, Kevin, all handmade, and I get it, beautiful staff with like this carved owl. Now, for those of you that don't know, because this is not a visual thing, I have an owl tattoo. Owls and penguins are my two favorite animals on this planet. So obviously,
the boy loves owls.
I want a staff with an owl. It was $1,200 fucking dollars.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Well, and that's the other thing. These are really like, so Ren-Faires are really like period themed craft fairs, right? So it's like an arts and crafts festival. And then there's some events like if you go to the right ones, there's big events. Like there's lots of jousting and different things like that. Like I've watched a lot of videos on Ren-Faires and they seem really cool. The other thing I've come to understand about them that doesn't get covered so much in videos about them, but that people often talk about, is they're incredibly horny. Like,
oh,
that's another thing I've come to understand. Like, if you're showing up to a Ren-Faire, you're relatively consenting to dealing with a bunch of horn dogs that are like,
dude,
looking out for like people to take to their tent. Basically,
this is
right?
why. This is why.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right, and this is why. I think that
thank you.
I know exactly what kind of outfit I think you should wear at a Ren-Faire. Mainly because I just want to record.
Don't say a bard.
No. I want to record, like not record, but I would want to keep track of all the responses from women and probably men. If you walked around a Ren-Faire, you would need to dress as like some kind of barbarian, either sleeveless.
I knew you were gonna say
or
that.
like no top. like
Look,
white hair wig, like
don't
just you carrying a
don't
giant
tempt me
battle
with a good
axe.
time, baby.
Rub yourself down with some baby oil to make your muscles really pop, baby. You know.
Odie, you know, one of my favorite ways to exist is shirtless. So
I
like
know,
this
and
is
you would
already,
think-
you know, like
Dude.
I'm into that. Yes, 100%. The only reason I ever resist that is when I'm trying to not be the caricature stereotype of myself that people have come to know. When I'm trying to be, when I'm like, I feel like being different today. I'm not everything that everybody says I am. I'll actually wear clothes and shit. You know, like,
Oh, yeah.
like if I was in a mood just to spite people, I'd dress up as like a druid with full like hood and like like a big long cape
Nah.
and shit.
You need a
like, just
giant
robes
battle
on
axe.
robes.
Because like
No,
there was
yeah.
people there that were shirtless, and like
Yeah.
I'm not body shaming at all. Like confidence is confidence, but I'm just
You're
saying
not
that
body
if,
shaming.
that if you were there, very big difference between your physique and
It's-
some of the
okay.
other people I was seeing.
It's
That's all I'm saying.
not body shaming to point out the level of fitness someone's in. Objectively, that's not body shaming, right?
'Cause I'm
Like,
talking
if you're
about
objective
your
about
body.
it. Yes,
I'm
okay.
objectifying you, Kevin.
That's fine. I'm used to that. So yes, let's go to a Ren-Faire and I'll be a barbarian. I would also love to dress up as a monk. We could do joint characters and we could say that we're from the same. This is just too much fun. Now we're just
This is
planning
too
this out.
All right,
okay,
podcast over. What's your jam?
I want to go to a Ren-Faire. The other thing I just want to touch on, it is incredibly horny, right? Like that's where I was going.
well,
like
so
there's
that's what
a
I was
lot
gonna-
of people checking people out there, right?
So there was one girl that walked by, and Nate and I are up against this like fence.
Yeah.
And we were
Oh,
eating.
were they
I was
checking
eating
Nate out?
I was eating a Scotch egg, and Nate was eating macaroni on a stick. And this girl walks
How is
by.
that Renaissance?
I don't
Keep going.
know.
Keep going.
So
Keep going.
This girl walks by, and Nate and I look at each other. She was literally in just a regular bra that she like put some like tassels on, a regular like pair of panties, and all she had around her was like a very see-through like skirt kind of thing, and that was all she was wearing. That was it.
Very horny.
Horny.
It's very horny.
Horny.
But to be fair, whenever we watch anything from that period, Outlander, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, like all of these things are very horny. And also,
Very.
for any of our listeners who have never played D&D, if you play D&D with a consenting group of adults and anyone is a bard, it's getting horny.
It's
Like,
getting horny.
That's just what it's part of the human function. I get it. Like, but like the funny thing for me is I'm like, I don't know. Like there's part of me that's like, is it a hassle to go to a Ren-Faire
No.
and behave the way I want to behave?
No, it's
you know?
fun. Dude, these guys were going around challenging people, and they were like, we're challenging you to it. They were like, obviously, like,
To a
performers.
duel?
And some people were like getting ready with the sword, and they were like, and they would do rock, paper, scissors. And it was
Oh my
just
god,
like,
I love that.
and they
That's
were in like
amazing.
in full armor. I didn't get a chance to record it. They did it to Nate, and it was
That's amazing.
really funny. It's just a great time. Like,
That's fun.
but here's the
It's
here's
escapism.
Now here's the but. You ready for the
Hit me.
The Renaissance Fair is great.
The
but-
butt was more than just one in lingerie. Keep going.
A lot of butts, but
There probably were a lot of butts.
there was a lot of butts.
But
There
people appreciate booties.
was a very
I get it.
so we as a group kind of collectively pointed out what was interesting about it is there's a lot of people that wear like just basic Renaissance costumes, and you can kind of look at like what I wore and what Nate wore as like that, where it's just like, you know, very much like a Renaissance-esque top.
Yeah.
You know, kind of Renaissance-esque pants, and that's about it. Like, you're not really
Okay.
going full out. And then you have people like my friend Ben, who was in like full chainmail and plate armor, people dressed up as Assassin's Creed people, down to like all the knives. There was the guy from The Witcher, like with the wig. Like, there was some really good like full-blown cosplays. And on the other end of that spectrum, you have people that just show up in like casual clothes, right? They're just there to, you know, they're just checking it out.
People who show up in underwear and a skirt.
Exactly.
And tassels.
But then
Yeah.
there's another subsection of people that show up in
Steampunk.
shirts that have just like phrasings on them. And before I
Oh.
dive into that, I just want to say that in my head, and I could be wrong,
Hit me.
in my
Hit me
head,
with these phrases.
this kind of environment is a very specific type of environment. So when people show up with shirts that say, "Did you America today?" Only I can make myself bleed. Thank God for the red, white, and blue. freedom
weird.
isn't free. And these are
Well,
all. I'm not
okay.
making these up. These are ones that I saw.
Only I make myself bleed is the. Only I make myself bleed my own blood. That's from Dodgeball.
It was on a American flag, and then
Wow.
one of the ones that I thought was the most disturbing, a 3%er shirt. I saw
God.
someone in a Trump hat, and like, look, I'm not saying that these spaces mean that if you're like whatever political whatever, but I'm just saying that like it was a little jarring because you can tell, and especially as someone who is queer, a lot of the people at this thing are definitely
LGBTQ.
or at least, I don't want. I'm trying not to get political here, but like, if you show up with a MAGA hat, there's a good chance a majority of the people there are not going to be MAGA supporters because this is a very specific type of person. No. Yeah.
Well,
so
not
it's
only
just
that you're. Not only that, if you show up with a MAGA hat at this point, you're just showing that you worship a different deity in your mind than everybody else. People are showing up here and they're worshiping Lysander, the god of the sun from D&D. You're in a cult that worships an orange god. Like that's you're in that cult. You're in a cult that puts tampons on their ear. That's your cult.
Yeah,
Your cult has its own symbolic imagery. Like it has its own language.
Mm-hmm.
And you have shown up with that. Yeah, I would.
It was just interesting.
I feel like one, I would want to dress up in like period clothes or like D&D style clothes, right?
Yeah.
Two, if I saw anybody with that, I would immediately in character start asking them questions about what America is, and like just like really try to get them to a point where I could be like, oh, that sounds like a country with a mighty tyrant for a king.
That'd be
like,
amazing.
Just
that would
like
be amazing.
really get them going. But really, like in my mind, as you're describing this, I feel like the most fun I could ever have is because I would enjoy getting so much into character. I could just dress up as a grubby peasant, right? Hear me out. A grubby peasant who runs around accusing people of being witches. And I would, but very loudly accusing them of being witches and announcing it to everyone around, and then calmly handing them a slip of paper that says, "You've been labeled as a witch. Please report to your dunking." Like something like that. And then just hand it to them and be like, "All right, we expect to see you at sundown." Okay. Just be prepared. We're going to find out if you're truly a witch or not.
You should do that. But as you go around, I'll be behind you with 2 coconuts doing the Monty Python like you're on a horse.
Dude, we should totally do Monty Python.
Let's just do that.
I would love that. Yeah.
Let's just do that.
That would be 100%. That would be phenomenal.
That'd be incredible.
We would have too much fun at a Ren-Faire. Let's just put it that way.
That's where we're going.
First, macaroni on a stick, I would immediately call that person a witch right off the bat. I'd be like, what is this witchery? But hold on. Leonardo da Vinci did exist during the Renaissance. And I bet if anybody was going to invent some fucked up shit, it was da Vinci. Da Vinci. That dude was
flying machines.
Dude, he was inventing how to fly and then also putting pasta on a stick. Like people were probably like, he's a madman. Well, that's great. While you were doing that, I got to enjoy the Book of Mormon, which I have to say,
I believe.
Now that I've finally seen it, yes, so phenomenal. One, that main character, his name is Kevin, and I have to say, good job, Trey Stone and Trey Parker and Matt Stone for writing a character that is so fucking Kevin. Like he's like he just comes out and he's like, "Hi, I think I'm supposed to be incredible, and I've prayed to God, and He's going to send me exactly where I want to be. Heavenly Father is going to put me exactly where I want, and that's Orlando, so I can play putt-putt golf and preach to people and baptize them." And then he gets sent to Uganda. For anybody who doesn't know, Book of Mormon came out in 2011. Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote it. They're from South Park. They wrote this, hilarious musical after they had a relatively thematic musical episode, but like the theme was, it was just a very simple song about Joseph Smith, and they were talking about the Mormon religion, how it came to be, and how his wife like really like denounced him, and he eventually got kicked out of Rochester, New York, and went for the promised land
of Salt Lake City.
Well, he said that they were going to go to the coast, right?
Yeah,
and they didn't really make it there because he got shot by a mob, and Brigham Young takes over, and they eventually settle in Salt Lake City area and start multiplying.
We looked this up.
We did.
Yeah, okay.
So, but the musical does such a good job of like highlighting. It's not a musical about Mormonism. It's a musical about perspective and faith versus religion, and what happens when you just believe instead of actually questioning things. And what I really love is there's a character in it who shows up. His name's Arnold Cunningham. So Elder Cunningham, Elder Price, Kevin Price, Arnold Cunningham get sent to Uganda. Arnold is a habitual liar, and like eventually is telling the Ugandan people that like switching over to Mormonism will cure their AIDS because Boba Fett was sent down by the Heavenly Father to help with that, and if they have sex with frogs, that helps. And like and then it kind of and it culminates with like the Ugandan people presenting their version of the history of Mormonism to the president of the Mormon Church, right? Who is horrified by the revelation that like they have no idea what Mormonism is. And then the Mormons who were there decide to stay with this, town folk, or rather this tribe of Ugandans. And they now have the Book of Arnold at the end of it, which is like everything that Arnold says about being a good person. So the whole thing is about just, you can eventually write your own religion just with beliefs and getting enough people to back it.
Yeah.
And there's a really awesome moment, and it's really short, and they don't dwell on it too much or make it too preachy. Wait, hold on one second. Big sneeze. Anyway,
Big sneeze.
They don't dwell on it too much. It's one of the main character villagers, Nabalungi, I think her name is. She's the chief's daughter. She thinks that everything Arnold's saying is literal. And then this girl comes up and she's like, "You don't think they actually had sex with frogs, right? It's a metaphor. That would be stupid." Like, it's really, really funny. Like, the other villagers got that it was a metaphor. She didn't. So she's like preaching this devoutly, saying that it was literal. And like that moment is enough of a moral that I think like anybody could see this and be like, yes, we should have healthy skepticism in our lives. Like, it's probably a good thing to have. And Kevin Price, who like starts the musical as like this devout guy who's been praying to God his whole life and assuming that the world's going to work in his favor because he's doing all the right things. Later it like has like just a one-liner. He's like, or even if we completely question if God exists or not, we could probably still have faith. Like, and you're like, there you are, Kevin. I see you. Good job. You've learned something here. But yeah, no, ultimately really great musical. And then of course, dude, I highly recommend it. So you were immersed in the Renaissance period. I was immersed in the Mormon period. Now, another thing, just to like, I don't even know how to bridge this gap because you were prepared to talk about Twisters this week.
Oh yeah.
But the only way for me to really bridge this gap, because this is like, what is this? We're a brand. We're a podcast. We're not going to succeed as a brand, but here we are.
Here we are.
So we actually had a tornado in New York this week. So, yeah, and not only that, in my town, I think the day before you went to see Twisters, we got a huge tornado warning. And it was kind of movie-esque. Like, I was driving home from work, and I'm like, wow, those are some mighty dark gray clouds that are coming over the mountains over there, like, because we live in the foothills. So, like, clouds will make it over. And then I get a call from my mom and my sister, and they're like, hey, we're going into the basement because there's a tornado warning. And I hadn't gotten it yet on my phone. And then right after I got off the phone with them, I got the tornado warning. I got home, and I'm unpacking my car, and it starts downpouring. Like, just immediately. Downpouring. There's lightning going off in different areas. Like, just crazy, crazy weather. And I was like, wow, that's insane. I get inside. Torrential downpour. Winds coming, like, blowing the rain sideways. It's like that scene in Forrest Gump. Sometimes the rain came from the ground up, and sometimes it was sideways. It's like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm just, like, watching things get whipped around. I go down and check on my mom and sister in the basement, but ultimately, I'm just kind of walking wherever. I'm like, nothing sounds too bad yet. It eventually passes. It eventually passes, and, like, I don't think we really felt the brunt of it where I am in the city, but, like, I was driving to work. Well, first off, I came outside of my house right afterward, and there was, like, multiple trees that were just flipped over, uprooted, downed, broken, like, everywhere. Even like right next door by my neighbors, there's a huge tree that went down, almost blocking their entire driveway.
Okay.
So like, yeah, shit was crazy. And then the next day I'm driving to work, and there were whole streets blocked by downed trees. And it kind of made me, I was like, wow, this is really appropriate timing for talking about Twisters this week, because instead of seeing the movie, I actually kind of just experienced some of the aftermath of the Twister. It's crazy. People were out without power for like 2-3 days.
Oh,
up
really?
Here. Yeah,
Damn.
they were trying to figure things out. Like, there were a couple people driving around with solar banks on trailers that they could like help people power things with for a little while. Like, dude, it was nuts. Yeah. So like, we kind of went through a Twister, and not only that, one did touch down in Rome, New York this week.
Oh.
So there was actually a Twister in Rome, New York. And I bet had we gone and seen this movie, or had this movie come out in advance, we would have been more prepared for these Twisters. Tell us how we would have been more prepared by talking about the movie, Odie. How would this movie have prepared us for these Twisters?
It wouldn't have.
What do you mean? It's called Twisters. Doesn't it have helpful information about Twisters? Can't we learn from this? Isn't the movie about stopping them? Aren't they the bad guys?
You need to go out and buy a Ram dually and fit it with spikes so you can withstand level 1 tornadoes and chase them like a cowboy with a drone in the air. Then yes.
Fill it with spikes?
Yeah, like not spikes, but they have these like little things that come down and like drill into the ground, and like the truck like gets anchored to the ground kind of thing. Yeah, look, okay, we're gonna talk about the movie. I'm gonna talk about the movie.
I'm flabbergasted.
You're
already.
giving me this really weird look.
I'm flabbergasted. Keep going.
First off, I think I said this last week, but when it comes to disaster movies, they are my guilty pleasure. I don't think, and I stand by this, I don't care. You can line up any of the disaster movies: Volcano, Twister, San Andreas, Into the Storm, Geostorm, The Day After Tomorrow. I don't care. None of them are good. No, Kevin, no. That's a disaster movie,
Not
but a
Rebel
different
Moon?
kind. That's a disaster of a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
I messed it up. That's my bad.
I don't think any of them are good. I think most of them are so stupid and dumb that they're just a great fun time. Like
Moonfall, Tsunami.
Oh, dude, Moonfall is so stupid.
San Andreas. The Day After Tomorrow.
So stupid. I love that movie. I don't like Geostorm, but
The Perfect Storm.
That's different, but sure. That's about boating.
Titanic.
That's not quite.
Rampage.
Close. That guy directed San Andreas, so anyway.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Getting there. I personally am in a weird, I don't know, I would be so curious. So if anybody else that's listening is like this, I would definitely want to know. I grew up with tornadoes. I've been through, and I was counting with Nate because I was curious. I have been through 6 tornadoes that have come within like 2 miles of where I lived. I have been through 8 hurricanes and 2 earthquakes. So I've been through the 3 major like natural disasters that Earth offers.
So you like disaster movies just because you haven't experienced like suffering and loss from them yet, or like what is this? Is this like a death wish kind of thing where you're like re-experiencing some of the rush that you got?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I've been through 2 Category 5 hurricanes. I was in Florida when 3 hurricanes hit in 4 weeks of each other.
Wow.
One of the tornadoes I went through growing up in Indiana was an EF3, and that's based off destruction. So like, I always wanted to be a storm chaser when I was a kid, especially when I went through hurricanes. I was like, wow, it'd be so cool to like chase this stuff and like be out in the middle of it. Now that I'm older and have a brain that's fully developed, I realize I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Twisters. Look, okay.
Hit me.
I fucked up because I thought that I was going to love this movie. I thought I was going to love this movie so much that
you had expectations.
I had, well, I guess I had
great expectations? Is this a Charles Dickens tale? Go.
I don't know what my expectations were for it. I just assumed
they were great.
That seeing it in IMAX, that I was going to get what I wanted, which was Glenn Powell running around in a truck chasing tornadoes, and I thought we were going to get tons of destruction, you know?
Yeah.
It's
not Glenn Powell running around with no shirt on chasing tornadoes and a bunch of destruction?
Okay, full spoilers for the movie Twisters. Look,
Hold on, Twister spoilers right here.
Oh my God! Why are there so many cows and spoilers in this tornado?
There you go.
I think that if you were interested at all in seeing this in theaters, you probably should. I think it could be worth it if you were interested in seeing it. I also think that if you're like, oh, I wanted to see it, but I heard it's not like the best, watch it when it comes out on streaming. I took our friend Kieran to IMAX because I thought that this was going to be like, dude, IMAX, great sound, great visuals, incredible theater. I thought this was going to be mind-blowing. It was fine. It was average. It was not. It was definitely the worst movie I've seen in IMAX in terms of experience. Like I saw Rogue One in Boston in IMAX, and they had like light shows, and it was fucking incredible. Seeing a Star Wars movie in IMAX, next level.
Oh,
here's the thing with Twisters. I really love the first Twister, and I only saw it for the first time a couple weeks ago when I was covering it on Magnum Opus, which it's out now if you're interested. I like the movie Twister because it's a storm-chasing group, and it's just over the course of like a day. It's like a 24-hour period. You've seen Twister, right? Obviously. Yeah. Okay.
It's Bill Paxton.
And Helen Hunt, baby.
With Helen
Hunt. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. You got Carrie Ells is in it. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
No, great
director of
great
Speed.
Cast.
Like, you can't ask for anything more.
Well, no, the whole plot, like they don't lean away from it. They're just like we're out here gathering data about tornadoes, and we're just passionate about it. That's it.
And that's why I love the first one, because it is literally just Bill Paxton is driving to get divorce papers, and then over the next 24 hours, him and his ex kind of wife are trying to, this like prototype that he developed is real now, and they're just trying to get data. That's the whole thing. They're just trying to get data. And they just happen to go through like 4 or 5 twisters over the course of 24 hours. Twisters.
It's really it's a metaphor for mending your relationship and how turbulent times can be for relationships,
be
right?
A whirlwind.
Because really, we're all just looking for information, and if we could communicate with each other better, we could probably mend some things, right? See, it's a rom-com.
It's a rom-com.
Twister is mistakenly labeled as a disaster film. It's really a rom-com.
It's really a rom-com with tornadoes. It's a tornado rom-com. Actually, the tornadoes
rom-com,
are in
baby.
Love. They're just trying to run away from the humans, not trying to interrupt their love.
It's a sequel to Gone with the Wind.
It is.
It's a sequel.
Gone with the Wind, Twister, and Twisters, the perfect trilogy.
It is, really.
So, my first problem with Twisters, and now, again, I think I had two. I think I was expecting to love, because I thought, hey, it's Glen Powell, it's tornadoes, it's action, it's destruction. I thought that there was no way this movie would miss for me.
Yes.
My biggest complaint with Twisters is that I don't think it knows what it wants to be. And what I mean by that is
the Twister itself or the movie?
The movie.
This Twister's too young. It doesn't even know what it wants to be yet. We got to cancel it.
I want to be a hurricane. You're going to be a tornado.
An ASVAB tornado.
So here, okay. So I'm going to kind of run down the plot real quick for you. It opens with, and actually I wanted to bring up the cast real quick. So Daisy Edgar Jones is this.
I have no idea who that is, but go.
I've never seen her in anything.
Fine.
She's kind of a new actress, but either way.
Okay.
She's great in this. Okay, I should say that first. All the actors.
Yes.
Fantastic. And I will say
this. Oh, really?
I will say this too. The storm chasing group that Glen Powell has.
Yeah.
I'm gonna better than the storm chasing group in the first one, because they actually get time on screen to be like, I love the first storm chasing group, and I say this in my video. This is a storm chasing group in Twister, like the first movie, I can get behind. I love every single one of them. Philip Seymour Hoffman's having the time of his life. My only complaint is I wish they had more screen time. This group gets more screen time, so I like them more.
Okay.
Also, the guy that played Angel Torres in the movie Nope. Have you seen Nope? The Jordan Peele movie, the cameraman guy, he's in this as the guy in the trailer that's like, twins, we got twins. He's fucking incredible, dude. Oh my God, Brandon Perez is, anyways.
Is he a camera guy again?
Yeah, he's the cameraman for Glen Powell's.
Oh my God.
I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it.
He's getting typecast as a cameraman.
He's unrecognizable, though, with his hair.
That's so funny.
So the movie opens with Daisy Edgar Jones's character and her 3 friends, and
And her favorite thing in the world, chasing tornadoes.
Yeah, I think they're in college, and she's trying to get a grant.
Tornadoes?
She has this like idea that she can destroy tornadoes by sending this like mixture up into the tornado, and it'll like disintegrate it and stuff. It's, you know, whatever, science shit. I don't know if it's real. The opening sequence is like 20.
It sounds not.
It's definitely. I mean, are any of these movies rooted in science, Kevin?
Oh yeah, they are for sure. All right, keep going.
Okay. So. This is a 2-hour movie. In the first 20 minutes are her and her 3 friends. One of them's her boyfriend. And it's just them chasing a tornado, failing. And then 3 of her friends die from the tornado. So it's just her and her other friend that was like getting data, you know, miles away or whatever, the guy in the van. Yeah. And then it just jumps 5 years later. And like, my problem with it is we spend a lot of time with this group in the beginning, and then they all die. And then her character goes through that thing where she's Tornado Jesus. She's Bill Paxton. She can see what the tornado's thinking. She knows what it's going to do. You know, she's Tornado Jesus. Yeah. But then the rest of the movie, like another big chunk of the movie, is her being afraid of tornadoes because it killed her friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those kind of things where it's like, she's the best, but now she's a little nervous, so she's not the best anymore, but she's still the best.
So Daisy Tornado Jesus has doubts, and that's the conflict of the movie.
And so her friend that survived with her comes back 5 years later and is like, hey, there's this new technology that if we place 3 of these like camera things around a tornado, we can get a 3D scan of the tornado and help better understand it and create better warning systems. The same thing as the first. You know, it's all about getting data to help prevent tornadoes or help people be more prepared for tornadoes, which is fine. Like, you know, what else are you going to do with a tornado movie? You know, like, you got to have something. So she teams up with him to get this data, and that's where Glenn Powell's character is like a rival storm chasing group. Now, I don't know about you, but what I liked about the first Twister is that the rival storm chasing group that was led by Carrie Ells, they were set up as villains. Like, he's in it for the money. He doesn't really care. He runs people off the road. He gets his comeuppance at the end. I mean, I don't think he deserved to die, but, you know.
Yeah, but that's nature, baby.
Exactly.
It's not like somebody else killed him, you know? The tornado's the bad guy.
Exactly. So this movie sets up, you have 2 storm chasers. You have the group that recruits Daisy Edgar. Her name is Kate. I'm just going to go character names because fuck it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so Tornado Jesus
is Kate. So she gets recruited by her friend to help them chase a tornado so they can put the cameras around it, get a 3D scan, yada, yada, yada. New Superman, Jacob Elroy or whatever his name is, he's in this, and he's playing a douchebag. He's playing the villain. The problem is both of the storm chasing groups are like the good guys. You have the scientific group that are trying to get data to save lives, and then you have Glenn Powell's group, which they're YouTubers that chase storms. And he's got like a drone pilot. He's got Brandon Pereira's character is the cameraman for him. He's got this English reporter came over from London to do a piece on him. He's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube, right?
Only 1 million?
I know, right? Like the things
I
that
feel
this
like
guy
that's
does,
so
he would
dumb.
have so many.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like that's actually like is this a period piece? Is this back in like 2013? Like
before
what
YouTube
is
was big? Because like he literally sits like has a tornado go over his vehicle. If I saw that, I would instantly subscribe. I'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, if anything, subscribing to see him get hurt. Like, so the thing is like right off the gate, they try to make it seem like Glenn Powell's group like is the bad guys, right? But you know that they're not, because clearly they're not bad people. They're just storm chasers. Like, and so the movie progresses, and you find out that the scientific group might not actually be that good, because it turns out they're actually working with this guy who swoops in and buys land from people when the tornadoes destroyed their property. So like, you know, taking advantage of people that lost everything. Land development.
Oh, yeah.
And so by the end of it, she ends up teaming up with Glenn Powell, and she learns how to stop a tornado, and she
Tornado
does.
Jesus.
Yeah, like the thing is the movie goes from here's a tornado, here's all this action, here's people getting sucked up, to now we're sitting in a truck and Kate's complaining about her friends that died 5 years ago, and Glen Powell is making fun of her and calling her city girl, and then here's a tornado, and now we're in the parking lot of a hotel so we can have more back and forth between Glen Powell's character and Kate. Oh, here's a tornado, and now we're back. It's like it goes up and down too much, and the common complaint
it goes up and down too much, but that's like tornadoes, baby.
Nah. I just think that this movie could have been. Here's where I think that this movie lost me. The Storm Chasers with Glen Powell should have been the movie. There's no need for this other group. It should have just been, here's a storm chasing group. Someone's doing a piece on them. They're chasing tornadoes. The tornadoes start to get out of hand. Now we need to figure out how to, like, stop them. Because
we need to figure out how to stop the tornadoes.
Yeah, because, okay, here's where I think this movie misses the mark for me. I think it's fine on a scale of 1 to Rebel Moon, or Rebel Moon to we need a Rebel Moon to something scale. Like what's a good movie on the other end of that?
I don't know. What's a great movie?
Rebel Moon to Paw Patrol the movie. All right, that's the scale.
What? That's not a good movie. Paddington Bear.
Dune 2. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's actually perfect. So
there you go.
From like Rebel Moon to Dune 2, it's like a 5. It's
in
fine.
between.
Like, it's in between. Like,
yeah.
Here's the thing. I said this to you before off air. I've said this on my YouTube channel. I didn't know what Twisters was going to be. Is it a reboot? Is it a remake? Is it a legacy sequel? What is it? Because Dorothy, which is the invention from Twister, is in this movie in the beginning. And they're like, "Oh, it's a relic," like, and I'm like,
so it's
shit.
Like so it's kind of all of those things. Like it's kind of a reboot, kind of a sequel.
I'll explain where I think it is, but what ends up happening is there's Dorothy, and then the main character, Kate, her mom is teased throughout the entire movie. So when she goes back to visit her mom in the third act, I was convinced. I was like, it's going to be Helen Hunt. She's going to be playing her character from the first Twister, Joe. Kate's going to be revealed to be her and Bill Paxton's daughter, and that's why she's so good at tornadoes.
That would have been a nice reveal.
And that's why she got her hands on Dorothy, and Bill Paxton's character passed away, and that's why she chases storms, because she loved her dad.
And that's how it goes.
Nope, just some random lady.
She's just some that's fucking lame.
And here's the thing. I know I can already hear comments of people being like, "Oh, well, like, that doesn't make the movie bad." No, it doesn't. It doesn't change anything.
But it doesn't make it better.
But the thing is,
it doesn't help it.
The problem is, I don't care if this movie is a sequel or a legacy sequel or a prequel or whatever. That doesn't matter. But if you're going to include references to the first movie, but then not do anything that links them together, it feels like Blade Runner 2049 is a great example of this. It is a sequel to Blade Runner, but the parts that involve the first movie are there throughout. When you finally get Harrison Ford in the movie, like, it all makes sense. He plays a good part, but like, I just feel like Twisters doesn't know what it wants to be. I think it's just a new tornado movie. I don't think it's a legacy sequel. I don't think it's a remake. I don't think it's a reboot. It doesn't follow any of the same things. Like, they use the technology of Dorothy to get data in the tornado, so it like already exists, I guess.
Poorly developed IP is what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, I don't think this movie is bad in terms of the destruction scenes. Like, the big tornado at the end does some really cool stuff. There's a good movie theater scene. I like a lot of the characters. The entire Storm Chasers, like, there was a moment where I thought Brandon Perez's character was going to die. And I was like, no. Do not kill him. He's the best part. And, like, I felt something. But when the movie slows down, it slows down too much. Like, it's too slow for me.
You're saying this needed to be more of like a high-speed, high-gust adventure.
Here's what I think you do, right? And not that I want to, I like to pick apart movies. I think you cut down the opening scene to flashbacks of just her friends dying. I think you cut out one of the storm chasing groups. You shave about 30 minutes off this movie, make it a brisk 90 minutes, and just from start to finish, it's just like the first Twister. Nothing.
Wait, how long was this movie? 2 hours?
2 hours, dude.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Too long.
Yeah,
because the first Twister does a good job of, here's a bunch of carnage. Now we're going to stop at the aunt's house, regroup, learn some stuff, more carnage. That's what
Yep,
this should have
that's
been. It should have been
That's all you needed.
carnage,
Yeah.
carnage, carnage, little pause, carnage, carnage, carnage.
I feel like a disaster. We've talked about this before. I feel like a disaster movie in a good way should feel like a roller coaster. Like I think it should feel like a thing where, like, if you wrote it once, you're like, cool, we did it. And if you're like a fan of it, you can watch it again and again and again. But it should also be shorter, right? Like, I will describe a lot of action movies as roller coasters. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a roller coaster movie. Like, it was one of those movies that I did it. I rode the ride. I'm cool. I don't need to do anything else with it. Like, I know what it is now, you know, like, and then other people are like, oh my God, I went on it 18 times. And it's like, all right, yeah, cool. Cause like that was a fun ride. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm with you. Yeah. This movie,
Shorter.
first off, I didn't know that it wasn't over 90 minutes, which
it's
it should
2
not
hours
be.
and
it should
4
be
minutes.
87 minutes. Let's be real.
It's
like
too
the
long.
best action movies from the 90s were 87 minutes. Remember that on the back of like a VHS? You'd be like, 87 minutes. All right. That's a pretty long time. Yeah, no, definitely shorter, more action-packed. Like, it sounds like what they were trying to do was develop characters that people care about so that they might come back for them. But if you spend too much time developing the characters, then you miss the really important characters who are literally the title of the film. And they're the bad guys.
And
the tornadoes. We got to kill them.
And, like, here's the thing, though. This movie did a good job of, like, all the storm chasing characters, what the lines and the screen time and the things they get to do. Like, there's a really funny moment, and I thought it was really well done. Brandon Perez's character, his name is Boone. He's like Glenn Powell's character's right-hand man, right? He always shoots shotgun. He's his cameraman. He's a free spirit. He's very funny. There's a moment where Glenn Powell runs off with Kate to, like, do something, and when he comes back, Boone's all disappointed because he's like, oh, you chased a tornado without me. And Glenn Powell's like, hey, buddy, I invented new rockets. So they shoot fireworks up into tornadoes. That's like a gag they do. But Glenn Powell's like, hey, he's like, hey, buddy, I created some new rockets, and I know you're upset with me, but I'll let you fire the new rockets. And Boone's like, all right. Like, and it's just like, it's like really like,
that's cool.
It's really good. It's showing, not telling, right? And like, I think that this movie spent too much time making us like it spends too much time developing the two main characters to the point where it's like we already know because of the 20-minute intro that Kate is good with tornadoes. She's sad her friends die. She blames herself and she doesn't want to chase tornadoes anymore, but she wants to help people. So she's conflicted because she has an opportunity to help people, but it involves chasing tornadoes. Cool. Yeah. That was already established. We don't need to harp on that for the rest of the movie. Glenn Powell, we know he's a storm chaser from Arkansas. We know he used to ride bulls because he tells us in a throwaway line. We know he loves to ride fear because he has a lot of fears, but he rides them because that's the kind of person he is. Cool. We don't need to harp on that. We know he's a fucking crazy person that chases storms. But that's what the movie does. It just constantly is telling us things about these characters, and it's like, you don't need that. You don't need it.
Yeah. You know what other movie very similar to this could have done something similar and definitely could have cut the time down was the reboot of Point Break. I actually I love that movie from a stunt perspective. Like, everything in that movie stunt-wise is absolutely fucking incredible, and I would watch it again just for those, but I would fast forward in between the stunts.
So that's a good point. Because here's what I would say about Twisters. This is my final thought about it, because honestly, I don't have
on Twisters.
I was gonna do a Magnum Mini and talk about it, but the thing is when I left the theater, I was like, I don't have a lot to say because there's just, I don't know, like there's just not a lot.
You know what you could do is you could do a short on YouTube and just do like everything you need to know about Twisters in 30 seconds.
Honestly, probably, because like
there you go.
Here's the way I look at it. If you like Glenn Powell, which he's the reason I wanted to see this, because I love that. I love him. He's great. If you like Glenn Powell, go see this movie. You will love him in it. He's fantastic.
I don't know Glenn Powell.
Top Gun Maverick, Expendables 3, Hidden Figures, Anyone But You, Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Nope.
Dark Knight Rises.
Who's he in that?
He's one of the guys in the bank that Bane kills. But anyways,
don't know.
If you like Glenn Powell, which you should go see this if you do. If you were like, oh, well, I just kind of wanted the destruction scenes, wait for them to come out on YouTube. All of them will come out on YouTube in like the next few weeks, and just go, tornado scene 1, tornado scene 2. The whole opening scene will probably be on YouTube shortly. Like, just watch them that way. Yeah. I mean,
Well, and you said this was disappointing in IMAX. I think that's a really good warning for people who might think that this would be better in theaters, because like that's what I would usually assume about a movie like this. But if I don't have to dump $20 to go see this thing, then I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to disaster films, like those should be built for theatrical experience even more than any other film. Like if a drama comes out and I don't feel like seeing it in IMAX, that makes sense to me, right? But if an action movie comes out, I should want to see that in IMAX. Like, yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, action movies, like I said, they should just be roller coasters. Like, they should be enough so that if you like that, you want to ride the ride again. And then if you're someone like me, you get the ride once and you go, good. Because for me, at most of the time, action movies are good, not great. Like, they don't blow my mind. They're not like I'm not watching action movies going, oh, fucking crazy. Like, I did as a kid, but now I do need a little bit of depth, but I don't need, like, the whole movie to slow down so that I can understand a character entirely.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think
that's good.
Action movies should be that, and that's how I feel about disaster movies too. But I think overall, I think for me personally, I had my hopes too high, which I normally don't do with movies. Like, I mean, a good example of this, and we're going to talk about this more next week, but like The Acolyte, like my expectations were through the roof, and so far they're being met. Yeah. Granted, there's some caveats there, but like I said, we'll talk about that not next time. Like Deadpool and Wolverine. This is a great example, actually. I have zero expectations for that movie when I go see it on Friday. I don't care. Like, there could be a million cameos, there could be no cameos. I don't care.
I'm seeing it on Wednesday, and honestly, I'm not even. I don't care about the cameos.
No, cameos do not matter.
Yeah, I just care. Well, yeah, because Wednesday's the real before, like, showing now. I guess
checking right now. I'm going on Friday.
I have no fucking idea. I'm going on Wednesday. I've had the tickets for forever, and somebody reminded me last week. But yeah, when it comes to Deadpool, this is all I want. I want the roller coaster treatment. I want to go through it. I want the story to be entertaining. I want to laugh. I hope I laugh hard. If I don't, then the movie did not succeed to the best of its ability. Deadpool 2 actually was really funny.
I liked it
I really
a lot.
enjoyed Deadpool 2. I thought it was funny. I thought like they did the best that they could with a really mopey, edgy little kid character in it, like, because I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty funny. Like, they're just making fun of how edgy the kid is. They're like, dude, stop, calm down. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, they took that character and put some levity to it rather than making it like so many people would mire the part of the movie in that edginess and be like, oh, isn't life tough for him? It's like, he's in a fucking superhero universe. Like, it's fine. He has superpowers. It's fine. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Deadpool 3 this week. What's your jam? Or you said you had a future jam this week.
Oh, yeah. Jams are
jam, baby.
I'm in a rough spot for jams just because of everything, content creation and whatnot. But the future jam that I'm very interested. For one, I'm finally watching The Acolyte. I finally started it.
Yep.
So I'm going to be finishing that. So far, I would consider that my jam because the first 3 episodes to me are really well done. I'm very much hooked on the story. I'm very much hooked on the mystery of it. Okay. But I would say my other future jam is this upcoming week. Oh, you know what? No. I'm just going to say.
I was like, where are you going with this? This
Long Legs. Look, I mentioned it last week, but I just think it needs another recommendation because it's still out in theaters. It got extended in its theatrical run, and I just think it needs to be seen. Like, you need to watch this movie.
I will give you the heads up. I'm probably not seeing it in theaters. I do not have enough time to make it to a lot of movies right now. Yeah.
Fair.
So that's a good jam. I don't mind that. That's solid. So Long Legs.
That, and then Acolyte, and then obviously I'm very much looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine just because I love Ryan Reynolds. Again, zero expectations for the quality of that movie. I think it could either be really good or with all this crossover and Marvel shit, it could be really bad. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So
that's pretty dope. My jams, we're in the midst of summer releases for music right now. So, like, straight up bangers are being dropped. Like, Manuel Gardner Fernandez dropped volume, I think, 6 this week, which is just, like, it's instrumental. It's beautiful guitar work. He's the main songwriter for Unprocessed, the band, who I love very, very much. They're awesome. They're in, like, that prog metal, post metalcore genre, but, like, they don't always lean into the metal, and his solo stuff is much more clean guitar than metal. So it's very beautiful. A lot of it sounds much more like someone's doing a classical, I would say a postmodern classical guitar recital, you know, when you're listening to that stuff. So that's really good. Action Bronson released his new album, which I was anticipating. You might remember from months ago.
Yep.
It came out. It's phenomenal. It's so fucking good. It opens up with a song that, like, has a little bit of a freestyle in it, but, like, the entire beat and background sound like a fucking, like, perfume commercial. It's just him in the background going, splash, provocative. It's a new fragrance from Johann. He's like the Dr. Baklava. Like, it's fucking. I cannot recommend. Like, if you just want a fun time, Action Bronson's just fun. Like, his lyrics are just fun. I finally get the hype. Like I was saying forever ago, like, I didn't get him for a long time. I get him now, and it's just fun. Like, it brings a smile to my face listening to Action Bronson. That, and then I cannot not mention it this week. It dropped Thursday. Fucking Childish Gambino released Bando Stone and the New World, and it is a banger. It is. I'm gonna say I love Idola so much, and the Eviscerate is definitely up there for, like, album of the year for me. Bando Stone is, like, it. I think that might be album of the year for me. Like, it's
Wow.
I've already listened to it like 5 times. I've front to back, really enjoying it. Every track on it's phenomenal. And there's this beautiful little, like, it brought out the kid in me. There's a Prodigy sample, and I was like, what? Like, it can't. Oh, dude, it's so good. He samples. Do you remember the song "Breathe" by Prodigy?
Oh yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like, dude, so fucking good. There's a sample on the album, and, like, that song's beautiful.
I'm putting this
built
album
so
on
beautifully.
I'm gonna listen to this today while I work on stuff.
Well, and it's his farewell to Childish Gambino. I feel like I could do a whole deep dive episode on Childish Gambino because I love Childish Gambino. Maybe I will. But like it Childish Gambino originally was supposed to get a farewell around, like, the 2017-2018 time period, right? Donald Glover's kind of played with this idea before. He said not a lot of it didn't really, like, feel fulfilling. He definitely doesn't identify with Childish Gambino anymore. He's a super creative person, and he's grown so much in his career. I think watching his career and seeing where he's at, like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was one of my jams this year.
Yeah.
This album is one of my jams this year. He is one of the more successful creative people out there. I wouldn't even just call him a creative. He is an artist. Like, he is someone who brings a brush to the fucking scene and paints some shit for you.
Yeah.
And, like, if you wanted him to paint some shit, I bet he could paint some shit too. He's a very talented individual.
He's a writer, a director, a producer, an actor, a singer. Like, he does it all.
Yeah,
And he's good at all of it. Atlanta is a
really
great
does,
example. Like,
exactly.
all of
Atlanta's
it.
phenomenal. Like, yeah, he and this album is just, like, it's such a good. I hope this album is the farewell to the Gambino namesake, and I hope whatever he does next is, like, a fresh start musically, if he continues to do music at all. He doesn't need to. Like,
No.
That's the craziest thing about this jam, is, like, there doesn't need to be a follow-up to this. This is phenomenal. If he ends on this, it's great. He announced a world tour. Like, it's just fucking killer. Like,
nice.
Absolutely, like, props to him. When he found out that it leaked online, he just started promoting it. He was like, I'm really disappointed that I couldn't keep it secret longer. I'm just going to promote it. Like, whatever. We're leaning into it now. Like, that was a good move. So those are definitely my jams. As far as watching things, I also am watching The Acolyte. I'm kind of getting through it. We'll talk about it at a later date. Like, I really need to, I need to finish all the episodes of it. I think I'm on episode 6 right now. And we'll get there. I'm not no comment on the Acolyte till we get there. Like,
oh, my other jam would be Lucky Day. You mentioned him a little bit ago, but he has been. I've listened to all of his albums now. Late Night is just fucking incredible.
It's a jam.
So yeah, I would say that. Yeah, Lucky Day has been on my rotation quite a bit.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I've talked about this band. I want to talk about this. This is my actual jam. Because you always spring jams on me, and I'm always like, because I
don't know what that is.
Because we don't have a lead into it where it's like, what's coming next.
I got my finger on the pulse, baby.
Yeah, I know. I am going to go see this band in October, hopefully. There's this band called Judah and the Lion, and I might have mentioned them on here.
Yeah. I know them.
Before. Oh, you know them? Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I feel like a lot of people don't, and I feel like people should. I'm gonna say this.
Finger on the pulse, baby.
I wanna start this statement with saying, like everything, I think Judah and the Lion has a very specific type of music, and for both sound and lyrics, it's not gonna be everybody's favorite because I've watched everything I can about these guys. I follow them on TikTok. I've watched the interviews. I've read articles about them. Their whole approach to lyric writing and just the whole industry as a whole is mental health and like self-care. And so their album that they released this year called The Process, which is definitely going to be one of my favorite albums of the year.
Yes.
And I know I've talked about it before, but it's all about the stages of grief, acceptance, denial, all of that. And every song in between those interludes that are the definition or the processes of grief are songs that are about that section. So, for denial, there's songs that have to do with denying in grief, and there's acceptance of grief and all that stuff. But they've also released a ton of singles and other like EP albums. And if you're somebody that just wants music that will make you like, I love to listen to them when I go on walks. They remind me lyrically of Noah Kahan, who is my favorite artist of all time. Because a lot of their lyrics
little folky, little Americana.
Yeah, and like their lyrics are definitely like, they have a bridge in their song called Suit and Jacket, where it literally says like, some of us surviving, some of us are roaming, some of us are hoping the world will turn more slowly. We're all alive, but we're all gonna die one day. And it's just like their lyrics are just like really
very grounded.
Yeah, very grounded. They really speak to me personally as somebody who has gone through struggles with mental health before and I've dealt with depression and anxiety my entire life. Like, these are songs that like sometimes I'll be like really upset and I can put one of those songs on. Same with Noah Kahan, and I'm like, I feel a little bit better. A little self-therapy love, baby.
That's good.
But Judah and the Lion is awesome. I would highly recommend checking them out. I'll probably talk about them some more at some point, but they're just, I really fuck with them. Like, quickly became one of my favorite artists, up there with like Noah Kahan and Bad Omens for me at this point. Like,
let's do this next week. I'm just thinking about this now. Let's do this. Let's talk about the Acolyte next week. Let's be prepared for that. And I definitely want to get it out of the way.
Deadpool and Acolyte.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
Deadpool and the Acolyte.
That's what we're going to talk about next week.
It's great. And Deadpool makes a cameo in the Acolyte, too. So, I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal.
It's perfect.
Yeah. He shows up, makes a snarky Ryan Reynolds comment, advertises for Mint Mobile, and then leaves.
And while he's cheeking his gin or whatever it is. He's like, whoa, an Acolyte, Mint Mobile, gin. And then he just leaves.
He shows up, watches Glenn from The Good Place. What's his name?
No, Jason.
Jason from The Good Place murder a bunch of Jedi, and he's like, ooh, that was nasty. Like, I feel like Deadpool would just annoy people in the Star Wars universe. Like, they would just, he'd just have like side commentary for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does anyway.
That's what he does.
That is what he does.
Fantastic.
All right, so let's talk about Acolyte and Deadpool next week. I also want to give you like a summer anime update. I don't know how much anime you've been watching lately, but I just realized that's what I've been watching because I was thinking about my jam and I'm like, which one? What's not anime? That's my jam this week. But I'll just come prepared because I'm up to date on Demon Slayer. I'm almost up to date on MHA. I'm watching the remake of Spice and Wolf. I just started watching Windbreakers. I'm even looking into like what's coming up in fall. I'm kind of going through a little bit of an anime kick right now, man. I'm really digging that. And what's helpful is anime is typically under a half an hour per episode, so that's just like
22 minutes.
That actually matches my schedule a lot better than committing to double that time for one episode of something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that next
struggle.
week. Little summer anime update for you.
Yeah, I have not watched any, but I will eventually get back to it when I have time.
We'll jump into it, and I'll ask you which ones you're comfortable with spoilers for.
All of them. I have read
regardless.
Well, JJK, MHA, Black Clover, those are 3 that I'm up to date on the manga because I do like when chapters drop, it's easier for me to keep up with those. So like MHA and JJK for sure. Like I know more than what's come out. Like So feel free to spoil whatever in terms of that.
Well, good. I will.
Sweet. Well,
let's fucking do it.
I gotta go edit a shitty Adam Sandler movie. Can't wait.
Oh no! Which one?
Pixels. Little sneak behind the curtain of what's coming in August. I'm into my August videos. Pixels. Fucking. That made me want to.
That's all I hear when you say Pixels is just like that sound of like electronic.
Yeah. All I hear is myself screaming internally
and then
about
Adam
that.
Sandler going, "Come on! What are you doing?"
Right?
Like that's if anybody asked me to do an Adam Sandler impression, I would just yell like that and like make big gestures. Like that's
with
how
your
I
basketball
remember him
shorts
as
and your
being, like,
oversized t-shirt.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, just yelling at people with his arms out akimbo, like super wide, like wow.
This is one of the
Little
worst.
Nicky.
This is definitely one of the worst Adam Sandler movies.
Oh no.
Easily. Can't wait to tell you about it. In August. You gotta wait a month. Comes out in a
Can't
month.
wait to hear about it. Wow. Easy beans, baby. Easy beans. What the fuck?